Well, howdy, and welcome to another postcard from Moorhead. I'm Larry Dixon, and for my regular subscribers, thank you for being with us today. And if you notice, I got a different hat today. How did I end up with this hat? Well, the University of Kentucky has what they call an OLLI program, and it takes really special people to participate in these OLLI classes. You have to be at least 50 years old. So those of you that have no clue what OSHR is, the OLLI Lifelong Learning, they do classes for people over age of 50, travel, sometimes they take road trips, cooking, writing, storytelling, world affairs, how to use digital cameras, the video editing. So that's how I ended up with this. I was doing a cooking demonstration on chicken schnitzel, and one of the students said, I got something for you. You need one of these. Hey, thanks. So that's how I ended up with this for this video. Now, what's on the menu for today? Well, first I want to give a big shout out to my sister. One of my Christmas gifts this year was some fresh seasoning. Thanks, sis. So we're doing navy bean soup. I'm not a huge fan of white beans, but Lenore loves them, so this is for you, Lenore. Navy beans were kind of small, so I opted to use Great Northern beans, and as you can see, they're a bit larger. I wanted a bigger bean, so that's what I went with. This is a so simple recipe. So what's in it? I've got a ham bone left over from Christmas. I have ham that was left over from Christmas off of this ham bone. One of the things in the recipe, it says you can use a smoked turkey leg. I have a smoked turkey leg here, but I'm using it in my New Year's video, which is going to be black-eyed peas and collard greens with smoked turkey leg and a little bit of andouille sausage. So we'll see come New Year's how that works out. So it calls for two boxes of chicken broth, pepper, parsley, thyme leaves, celery, onion, garlic, of course the ham, and the ham bone. So this is a really easy and simple meal to put together, and I am sure Lenore is absolutely going to love it. So let's go ahead and let's get started. And before I turn the heat on, I'm going to go ahead and put my beans in. This is 1 pound of Great Northern beans. I'll start with 4 cups. The recipe calls for 8, so we're going to go with 4 cups of chicken broth. That to the side. Calls for 2 stalks of celery. Cut it up, whatever how thick you want it. Lenore says I cut stuff too thick to suit her, but that's okay because this is going to kind of cook down, and I'm going to chop it a little bit finer to suit her. This is a handy tool right here, this bread scraper. Okay, so that's 2 celery sticks in the pot. Give it a quick stir. The recipe also calls for 2 garlic cloves. Cut that little brown spot off on the end. Whew. Okay, next is going to be the seasoning. A tablespoon of thyme. A tablespoon of parsley. Give this a stir. Now at this point I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat on. I guess I have to get it plugged in.
No, you're doing it all wrong.
So at this point, since I've got a little bit of liquid in there, I've got some seasoning in there, I have my beans in there, the thyme and the parsley, I'm done with it. Black pepper. Oh, another Christmas gift. This is pretty cool. Add the black pepper. About a tablespoon of black pepper. As you can see, I do like gadgets. So it's got the black pepper. Okay, let's see. Onion calls for a medium onion. This is a little bit bigger than a medium, but we'll go with it. So I'm going to try to give this a very fine chop to suit Lenore. I like a little bit of texture in my food. Like I say, Lenore would probably want these onions minced, but this is what we get right here. Onion going in the pot. Give it another stir. My ham bone in. Yeah, put it right down in there. I'm going to add some extra ham that was left over from Christmas. Because this is going to be some mighty fine navy bean soup. Looking down in the pot, oh, I'm definitely going to need some more ham to go in that. There we go, heat's coming up. A little more chicken broth. Now one of these boxes is 4 cups of broth. So I've got 8 cups of broth in my pot. Going to add a little more ham. No point in letting it go to waste. I believe this one last piece will be enough ham, especially with that ham bone in there. And on purpose, I left a considerable amount of meat on that ham bone, knowing that I was going to be doing this for Lenore. So there you go. That's what we're looking for. Lots of ham. Those white northern beans. I've got celery, pepper, the other seasonings in there. I'm going to bring this to a boil. And once I bring it to a boil, I'll come back. We'll look at it and then cut it down and let it simmer until it reaches a thickness or consistency that I like. But it has come to a boil. Pretty vigorous boil. I'm going to give it a stir. Make sure all that seasoning gets mixed in with that ham bone and those beans. So I'm going to let it boil for 5 or 10 minutes, and then I'm going to turn it down to a simmer. And I don't have a time at this point. Once it comes to a boil and then simmer to reach a thickness, consistency that I like. Also, I want to take the opportunity to invite you to subscribe, like, and share my videos. I want to give a special shout out to my sister, who is one of my biggest supporters in sharing my videos. So I'm going to let this boil for 5 or 10 minutes, turn it down to a simmer, and by that time we should be ready for Lenore's taste test. Lenore's beans, her white beans, they've simmered for an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours, something like that. 2 hours, she says. So the first thing I want to do before we do the taste test is I want to show you the remains of that ham bone. All the meat has fallen off of it, a little bit of gristle. So I'm going to take it out of the pot if I can. So while mine and Lenore's taste sample is kind of cooling off, I'm going to take the pot off the burner. And I made this special for Lenore, so I hope she likes it. Lenore? Thumbs up. I thought it needed a little bit of salt, but Lenore said it didn't. And let me take another taste test. No, doesn't need any salt. The ham had enough salt in it, so definitely don't add any salt to this recipe. This is Larry Dixon, postcard from Morehead, my official taste tester, Lenore. Don't show too much enthusiasm there, Lenore. So don't forget, hit that like, subscribe, and share button. See y'all down the road.